Grand Final. Bill Sutton, the other main ring, 80 VFL matches.
He's seen one of them.
Neville Nash, umpiring. He's final match. Joins Kevin Smith.
And while Ron Casey is running through the umpires, the Essendon side first onto the ground through the huge banner that the Essendon cheer squad had prepared.
Stephen Copping is out there, Peter.
And of course, Andrews and Donnell played in the reserve match here this afternoon, so we knew they weren't going to be taking part. And let's see if Bill Duckworth is out there. There was some rumour he wasn't fit.
We'll try and pick him up.
Let's see if we can find number 22 or Bill Duckworth. Copping is certainly there, as Bob mentioned.
I believe that Wood will be the player out. That's just a personal opinion.
And you still think that Duckworth will be in the side. There was that's not Duckworth, but trying to pick up what player that has been left out of the Essendon side.
That's Duckworth now on camera.
Yeah.
So it's Billy Duckworth out of the side in the blue Adidas jacket there. And Billy Duckworth, unfortunately, has been a great player for Essendon, and they will miss him badly.
And at the back of the Essendon team doing a cruise around the ground, we see Brian Wood out there. So the ex-Richmond champion that's had a lot of grand final experience is in the lineup to play here today in the 1983 grand final.
That was Brian Wood on camera. And so it's interesting to see just how Wood does pull up. And these days, Lou, I understand, I read by the press, that the players can actually test their thighs on machines to find out whether or not the leg is good enough to take these trends. And Peter, that's a magnificent banner of Hawthorn's, isn't it?
It's the best I've ever seen, apart from the two Richmond banners. Maybe it's the same artist that has done the work
Really
there.
great. And
Kevin Bartlett, of course, played his 400th game earlier in the year, and we had a huge banner to celebrate that. But now here come Hawthorn, led by Captain Lee Matthews. And the banner breaks.
That's a bit of bad luck because a lot of work gone into that banner. And Lee Matthews leading the side on the ground, and a lot will be expected of Lee Matthews. But I'm always a little bit doubtful about players that go into a grand final with a doubtful hamstring, because in a final match you've got to exert yourself to the utmost, and there could be a little bit of pressure applied. And I just certainly hope for Brian Wood's sake that doesn't happen today, because the Bombers need him today. Well, every player is needed, because when you reach the grand final, you need every bit of luck you possibly can get.
Exactly right, Lou. And we have discussed the Essendon interchange and such, but Hawthorn also picked 5 players. We did see Ken Judge strip in the rooms. I cannot see, yes, Michael Byrne's down there. So it might be Michael Byrne and Ken Judge on the interchange. It'll be interesting to see whether or not it was a blind, Lou.
Well, coaches do a lot of funny things in ordinary games, so I wouldn't put it past them to do something outstanding in a grand final, Peter, really, would you?
Well, if you can count them out there quickly, Lou, we'll know very soon.
Well, I'll give it a go if I can.
And Peter Knights, of course, playing his 250th game today. And what a magnificent player Knights has been for Australian rules football.
Yes, of course, I remember, and you too, Bob, his performance in the 78 grand final. I think he got KO'd early in the final quarter and then got up off the ground to...
Went to the forward line.
Yes, and he took a great mark in the forward pocket.
There's only 20 Hawthorn players out there, unless my adding up is incorrect.
Well, that's happened before.
That's happened before.
Pete, it has been mentioned that we are going live to the United States, and the man
and New Zealand.
The man in the United States, of course, is Ronald Dalbarassi. And he might be a little bit interested to know that in the under-19 grand final, Melbourne won by 9 goals.
That should cheer him up, certainly. Let's go down to our reporter on the boundary line and introduce Stephen Phillips, who has the team changes for this afternoon's game.
A very good afternoon, Peter, and Hawthorn have made a couple of changes just in their lineup. On the interchange bench, although I suppose Alan Jones would have liked to have put him straight into action, will be Bertie Dipierre Domenico and Ken Judge. Byrne will line up in the opening lineup. 4 Footscray, for Essendon, I should say. Billy Duckworth is out of the side. Couldn't get over that cork thigh, and Copping, Ezard and Clayton will line up. Brian Wood assures me that he's okay, and there was some doubt about Terry Wallace. There was some